here on this stream, and one of the final ones wrapping up what's been a great day of Dota as we expected, but looking forward to seeing how things finish off here. And well, Nouns, they're looking forward to their first win of the day, currently with that 0-5 individual game record. On the other side, you have a team that's 4-1 in Team Secret and looking to finish off with a statement themselves. I'm Brick CBK, joined by Killer Pigeon once again. The draft, in fact, already started, so we'll get into that shortly. But KP, do you have any hope? Is there a chance?
I mean, there's always a chance, Breaky. You know, a mouse breaks, internet cable disconnects, someone has to fly home because the mother needs help with the cleaning. There's something, right? okay. Maybe there's a world in which it can happen, but I'm worried that world could be beyond our discovery, right? I don't think we have the tools to go that far out. We need Elon Musk's help. That's to say that this is tough, really tough. Based on game one, honestly, I would be impressed if they have the mental fortitude to still be cognitive, right? Because that's step one for me. I think even talented players after that first game, that felt crippling. What gives me hope, Breaky, is the way that they didn't GG out. In a weird way, that gives me hope. They weren't that demoralized, even when they clearly could not win that last game.
Well, I mean, it goes without saying, I don't know I can't sit here and say confidently that if they go 0-6, there's no chance of qualifying. But there's 4 more games to play tomorrow. Let's just say an 0-6 record with the bottom 2 of the 6 teams dropping out. Or not, excuse me, not dropping out, but
no, they go lower bracket straight away, right?
Yeah, they go to the lower bracket, but yeah, the point is, Nouns, they need to start winning games. I know it's a more difficult task than easier said than done kind of deal, but it starts here. But all right, so looking at the draft though, you know, Batrider is a hero that I certainly have expected to see quite a bit of here in this event, and we haven't seen actually any Batrider in any of our games. I know he's been banned quite a bit. Nouns does manage to take him in the first 2 though, so they open up with the Batrider to go with the Witch Doctor, but you already got a Nisha Invoker on the other side, and that's a scary hero player combination to see.
Templar Assassin.
It most definitely is. I do love how the Nouns have opened up with the Batrider plus the Witch Doctor, though. I think we've already seen Witch Doctor today, how impactful it can be. It draws a lot of attention towards it. But I think you're right to highlight this Invoker. It's actually, I think Invoker is a really good solution to Witch Doctor, because if you're going to stand still and cast spells, well, great, I'm just going to Sunstrike you. There's plenty of ways you can disrupt from afar, right, with the Cyclone. So it's not an easy game for Witch Doctor to find impact in the mid-game fights. I think Nouns is going to have to find a way to maximize what WD can do in the laning phase in this game.
Yeah. Templar Assassin already coming out for Nouns, so perhaps that matchup into the Invoker that they'll want to have. But now Team Secret deciding on who they want to go with their at least 3rd pick and then 4th to follow. And, you know, something you were actually mentioning kind of Australians are just coming back is how fast these drafts have felt like they've been going. But, I mean, you look at Secret's using a bit of reserve time on this one. They definitely are putting some thought now into what's already only even the 3rd pick.
Yeah, I think this is the pivot point. I think different teams kind of have this. The goal now for Poppy is to lock in his next 2 picks very clearly, and then understand the bans for the final phase kind of ahead of time. So this is where the whole draft will really start to come together. Some people like to kind of, you know, figure this out right at the beginning. There are people, I mean, he doesn't play anymore, but I'm always reminded Peter. PPD used to be a classic guy that would lock in more or less his first 4 picks at the start, and it'd be very hard to get him off that. Whereas the more kind of standard way is very clear opener and then just take all your time here, because the rest should kind of create itself. Unless your opponent comes out with a really cheesy off-the-cuff pick, it should be very hard to pull you off of what your draft's now going to be.
Yeah, you know, I had the chance to watch a bit of the Western European qualifiers, and of course Secret being a part of that, watching a bit of their game specifically, and I gotta say, this is looking like a exact replica of so many of those drafts, especially with that Monkey King. Now, Silencer is a bit of a twist as I'm saying that. Interesting. Now, up against the Batrider could certainly be a powerful tool, kind of a similar idea to the Black Hole Stopper, in this case, the Lasso Stopper. Decent against TA, I suppose. So, yeah, 4th pick Silencer, though, for Team Secret.
Yeah, but we
5
something we can't
seconds
underrate
remaining.
here is that this is a goated Monkey King player. Right? This guy, just to remind people, Chrysalis began his career as a Monkey King spammer. It's still his most picked hero by far. This guy doesn't just live and breathe Monkey King in the game. Rumor has it that he goes to local zoos and communicates with the monkeys as well, just to make sure he's on top of his game. So they need to find a way of making sure he can't have a game. Because if you think of pretty much any situation, any scenario in Dota 2 involving Monkey King, I can almost guarantee Chrysalis has played it.
10 seconds remaining.
Gonna get his chance to get his hands on that once again
5
here,
seconds
unless some
remaining.
funky. I mean, again, are we bound to see some funkiness happening? Probably not. It's probably going to be in the hands of Chrysalis with the Monkey King. So clockwork though for nouns.
Could you imagine? Could you actually imagine like being on a team Chrysalis, picking Monkey King, and then be like, I'm gonna play a support, and just like the look you'd get from him? He'd never forgive you.
Now, could you imagine Puppy telling you that? And I think you would be forgiven.
That you wouldn't forgive him, but you wouldn't argue, right? I think that's the
Sure.
You'd be like, yes, Papa Puppy, whatever you want, Puppy. Hey guys, I'm warning you. Like you don't like if you're a boss one, you don't sass your 5. Whatever your 5 says
10
goes.
seconds remaining.
Couple of final bans to happen now.
5 seconds
There's the
remaining.
Enigma taken away on the side of nouns. Interesting there. Nature's Prophet and Pudge bans from Secret, and then the Visage ban will be the final one before our last 2 picks now. So Team Secret, who do they need still? Likely their off lane. Resolution hero. Who's that going to be?
So Secret.
10 seconds
Man, I
remaining.
wonder if Secret actually flex the Tusk as a free. I've seen a few people do this, but I think they just want to go for
5
something that's a bit
seconds
more
remaining.
stable on farm. In terms of what's available, the Beast has already gone. Centaur maybe. Viper. Okay. They could. No, I don't think they're going to switch through this and stick the Viper against the TA, but this should be somewhat of a stable laner. I quite like it against the Witch Doctor, right? Because Maledict is your big source of damage, and Viper does, of course, have magic
10
resistance with the
seconds
corrosive skin.
Good against
then we'll have a
decent against
remaining.
Templar Assassin as well. Yeah, no, an offlane Viper makes a lot of sense here. I feel like for Team Secret. So now nouns, their safe lane option. is likely still to
They
come.
need preferably something ranged, right? You don't want to just be stuck on close to this Viper. Someone like maybe a Luna, but that might be a bit too greedy. What have they actually got left here? I mean, not that many got banned out, right? The Slark and the Void were actually taken away
I was
by
thinking
them.
Slark, but
You'd love to be able to do something like a Slardar and really just irony Team Secret out of this, but you just can't Slardar into a Viper lane
yeah.
or a Monkey King. You just don't have flex there. But something that benefits the TA, like Bloodseeker used to be a classic one, could be a little bit difficult in lane against Viper again, but you would have a way of getting some farm. I just think the issue is if you're picking a Bloodseeker 1, you want a lot of farm. You don't just want to be settling for a Bloodright and a creep hero there.
Yeah. I can see a Bloodseeker actually still being it because again, kind of going through there's a lot of limitations here. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily be disappointed to see nouns picking up the Bloodseeker as a final pick, but yeah,
it's nice
tough,
with the
'cause
Witch Doctor. Because
I'm also thinking like
you
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. Give me a solution. Come on, quick. Call it before it happens.
I was thinking terror
got
play,
this.
but no, not really against the info. It's just it's tough. Nothing's honestly coming to mind here that stands out as an obvious.
I mean, here we go. We're gonna find out.
Choose your hero.
Okay. Oh, actually, no. In fairness, like NA, I think loves this a lot more, especially in the carry role than most regions. That's actually a good call. Like, I don't know why my brain just kind of farted out everything but Weaver. Really good on the lane against the Viper and Tusk. Very difficult to catch. Still that X factor of the Sansa though. I think Z Freak is gonna have his work cut out, or Moo. Someone is gonna have to shut down Puppy at the beginning of these fights every time.
Yeah, similar to what we saw in the previous series, right? It's the name of the game was focus that silencer in the back lines, get him killed as soon as possible, and that's what Infamous was able to do up against T1 in the previous series. So, absolutely agree there. It's going to be a mission for nouns to hunt out that silencer and get him in the back lines, but as always, a lot easier said than done. No, granted, they got Clockwork, Weaver, Batrider. These are all, Templar Assassin with the Blink. I mean, these are absolutely all heroes that can certainly get back there and kill him as soon as possible. So I will say this again, going back to the Weaver final pick. Yeah, I do like Nouns draft better than last game. That's for sure. I still think this game's Secret is overall looking very strong. They got the comfort picks. You mentioned the Chrysalis Monkey King. Nisha Invoker, I think, is certainly up there as well. So that is a big factor. But the overall draft, if you take away the players playing them, it does seem like Nouns did a pretty good job, honestly, this one. And hyped to see a more contested game, too. I'll put it that way.
It's not difficult to beat that requirement compared to game one. Very one-sided opener, but hopefully Nouns had some harsh words to return. I mean, they're a noun, right? So, like, they know words pretty well. And I'm sure they inspired their players back in after a brutal beatdown. And this game should be a bit more even. Let's see what they can do as we hop into game number 2. Final game here of the day. And man, I gotta just give credit. The Weaver fits better and better the more you think about it. Like, it can lane very easily against the Viper. It's hard to necessarily catch a lot of these heroes, minus the Silencer. Also, what I mentioned about the TA, like something that enables Roshan gives more minus armor, Weaver does that. So I think Puppey's gonna have a lot of pressure on him, and also Secret are gonna have to be well positioned to block out the Roshan objective, because that's gonna be key to Nouns' objectives here, to the victory condition.
Our goal today
Unironically,
Interesting with the Invoker. I always like to kind of theory craft the idea of, is it going to be a Quas Wex or is it going to be Quas Exort? And the early answer is given here, of course, from Nisha. It's going to be more of that Quas Exort, so more of the Sunstrike setups and just more of a right-click presence in general that he'll have, especially early on in the laning phase. Part of me was like almost expecting maybe the Quas Wex, though, kind of going back to the Weaver, where that could have been, one of the tools that Weaver certainly had to fear throughout this game, was that crowd control and the early ganking presence that Invoker could have brought. But not going to be the case, so we'll see how that works out for Nisha. I'm sure going to work out great, and I certainly trust his decision there, but just at least an idea of thinking about, and we see Invoker making a commitment, though, to the Exort again. All right,
yeah, so I think looking at these drafts, and like, there's definitely arguments against Weaver, especially the stance on the field. But the more you look at Nouns draft, the more you realize Gunner either wins this game or they lose this game. And I kind of like that they tried to just benefit the TA more. And the only hero that really felt right to do that was probably the Weaver. We mentioned things like the Bloodseeker that used to be amazing, but you just can't. You can't lane against the Viper. So they just went for something that's going to survive the laning phase. And I think this game is Gunner's to either win or lose. Hell yeah. That's the Sunstrike. Best Sunstrike ever.
There you go.
Technically, that's 100% success rate on hitting Sunstrikes.
Yep.
Husky.
Got the percentage.
Oh god. This. I mean, I think you are dead.
Yep.
Costa Bile needs to show ample respect here, or he's going to be dead too.
Yeah, this is in general against a Viper. No hero really wants to ever deal against a Viper in the laning phase. So. Secret has that going for them, and Zayak is going to constantly be roaming around, doing some creep pulls and off to the side. Always a threat as far as engaging with those shards, as obviously coming into play in the previous kill, the first blood that took place here. So yeah, Husky has to be careful, and as I say that, more shards coming up, more to kind of push them back, though.
Nice. Gets the kill, gets out. Not too bad, actually. Like that. I think this is actually the lane that could have a lot of impact. Like the mid lane, TA should feel somewhat comfortable against the Invoker, sure. But I think you need someone that's able to get active on the map, and Templar Assassin's not going to do that early. If Mu gets off to a good start, I think Nouns actually has presence across the map to make this game uncomfortable for Secret. Yeah, bot lane is just this... Okay. I've been there before. That Shards connects, that's a dead Weaver.
Oh, Weaver still might be in trouble. He's good.
Yeah, he went Swarm level 2, so no Geminate coming out, but a lot of potential to kill, courtesy of the Witch Doctor as well. Nice find.
That is a kill. He's dead. Next tick. Yep, that's going to secure it. So good find indeed for Nouns. And hey, they have a 2-1 lead. So what was Weaver getting low and thinking that he might have been dead? And not the case. In fact, they get a turn onto the Tusk. So already feeling much better as far as how game 2 is going earlier on. And also feeling much better, KP, is Gunner in the middle lane. He is 11-3 compared to the 8-1 Evoker. But again, you compare that to the last, he got wrecked on the Pango against the Morphling. So much better start this time around.
Also, he has a favorable lane, so he should be doing this well. And the cool thing is that Nisha can't necessarily keep up the farm, not just on the lane, but what comes afterwards. Midas will at least allow him to somewhat compete, but if we start seeing some stacks coming out, Gunnar can hit a really good timing on Deso Blink, and that's when this game gets a bit spooky for Secret.
That's good job dodging the cask initially with that snowball, just running down Husky. Not gonna be a kill, but really kind of force him out of the lane. Maybe even force him all the way back to base at this point. So certainly mission accomplished there. And Weaver has to respect now that he's by himself. There is a sentry also in the trees, as we see, that can make it easy to make a gank happen if he's not careful. So you can tell Costability. He knows, though, he's keeping his distance. And even with that, Resolution's just going to go in and poke, do some auto attacks.
It's such a hard lane. Like I said, this is probably the best choice to get out of this lane that he had if he wants to benefit the Templar Assassin, but it doesn't make it easy necessarily, because the issue you have in this lane is the Tusk. If the Tusk actually hits an Ice Shards, you're not getting out Shikuchi. And even later on in the game, I mean, the Silencer is going to be amazing against you. What I love about the way Secret drafted this Silencer is it's actually not a reactionary Silencer. It's a productive Silencer. You're meant to global to get kills, not to save lives.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's one exactly to kind of force the fight, if anything, and force the panic on the other side, not the reaction. So that's definitely a good point to make there. What are we seeing? Oh, yeah, we're seeing some roaming around. You got the mid lane matchup, though. Again, you get Templar Assassin continuing to look a little bit better as far as the creep score. You mentioned favorable lane matchup for him. Wondering also what we're going to see out of TA in terms of the first build. You know, there's of course usually the Blink, the Desolator, and the BKB. Depending on the momentum of the game, does he go for that Blink first? Does he like the Desolator instead? I'm thinking this game, probably the Blink, to be a little more aggressive with the team. But, oh, Costability, by the way, bottom lane. It's action in multiple places. He goes down on Weaver, but top lane, Puppy will fall.
And that's a big trade out on both sides. Move, at least make sure his team gets a slight better side of it. 2 supports for 1 carry. And, you know, it sounds actually good for Secret, but once again, to emphasize, like, the Weaver is not the win condition. He just needs to somewhat survive the lane. The TA needs to be doing good. And so far, she's at least still ticking that box. I swear I'm not huffing copium right now.
Husky, by the way, trying to get himself denied by the neutrals, but Resolution not letting him do so. Able to kill him first, and Resolution up there with the top farm of the game. In fact, going for Costability once again.
They got him. Poor little Costabile, the little bug who could... Okay, he could with assistance like that. They'll still be able to find him in the end, I think, but that shouldn't have been that hard to achieve. Z3 can top lane as well. Oh, Chrysalis, he might tap out if they hit him one more time, but Husky can't find him.
He's still alive? I mean, he's dead, right? Like, they are going to find him. Yeah, Chrysalis, they'll allow Chrysalis to kill. But by the way, Sunstrike killed Clockwork. Nisha, that was a blind, not really a blind, so he knew he was going up there, but he had to guess correctly, and it does manage to land. So multiple things that went very well for the side of Team Secret there, as far as that brawl is concerned.
I mean, they're just starting to outplay. Chrysalis even dodged the final Maledict tick by using the Mischief. Beautifully done there. Not easy to achieve with the 0.2 second window. So that keeps him alive, allows him to then also reinitiate and find a kill. Right now, it just feels like Nouns are going to be forced to do what they had to do in Game 1, where they make a move kind of ahead of time and bring more heroes than intended. However, compare Game 1 to Game 2, and I feel like they have a lot less tools to offer from their safe lane and their mid. Instead, all they can offer up is more heads for Secret to munch upon.
Chrysalis, does he die for this, though? It looks like the answer is yes. Sunstrike connects on the Z-Freak, but not enough damage with just Silencer there now to get the turn onto him. So nice turn at least for the side of Nouns. Getting some immediate revenge for the Bat Rider, as they managed to kill the Monkey King. But I just keep looking back at Resolution down here in the free farm that this Viper is having, and what impact we're going to see of that. But there is some insight for Templar Assassin, by the way. Yeah, there's a little bit of harassment at the top lane continues. But he is going to go the Desolator first, though. Going more the damage, a farm enhancer there.
Yeah, I just think you have to. There are heroes on your team that should deliver you kills. The Clockwork can initiate a hook shot. You've got a Bat Rider that can lasso, Cask as well. That you should be able to reach your opponents. And also, the cool thing about going Des over Blink, you don't put yourself in the clock. If the game goes a little bit later, you haven't sacrificed scalability, right? And you can still get decent timing on Blink with this build, especially if your teammates start stacking.
He's in the jungle right now, taking out a little bit of the jungle. Has those traps also surrounding him.
Dire are scanning.
Some nice protection, but 8 minutes kicking in, and it's going to be Rune top, and it's going to be Hastrune that spawns, and Husky will protect their 4-gunner to bottle up. So now Hastrune in the hands of Templar
Radiant's
Assassin, but
middle tower is
I
under
don't know if we should
attack.
expect a gank out of him necessarily at this point. He needs a Desolator first, ideally, before he's really big damage threat.
I'm kind of actually wondering what build Rezo wants to go for this game. One big issue that Vipers typically have is that they are static. They sit in a lane, and people either come to them or they don't. So you have two approaches. You can either try to get mobility, or you can double down on that and just become a fortress moving down the lanes. I actually like that he went for Phase Boots and now Dragon Lance. I think his goal is just to force them to have to react to him. In the meantime, elsewhere, people defend. Speaking of which, top lane.
Sunstrike, it's gonna miss right there. Chrysalis does end up falling. The Sunstrike going for the kill on a Weaver, unable to connect. Obviously, that's a very slippery target to catch Zach. Meanwhile, Snowball, he's probably still dead after this. Comes on out and move with the fire put down Gunner. In fact, credit for the kill. Puppy hiding in the trees. They know he's up here somewhere, though. It's a matter of finding him, which it doesn't look like they're going to be able to do for the time being. So Silencer makes it out, but this will transition nicely into the top tower kill. And Nouns with a very successful fight, especially with the tower kill. And this Templar Assassin is going to have one of the Mithril Hammers now towards that Desolator. So again, I'm kind of making some comparisons to the first game as well, but just really the vibe, the feel of the game, absolutely feeling much better for Nouns and their chances here.
Yeah, it's not just them begging for mercy. It's them actually trying to make Secret the ones pleading for their life. Well, it's actually going to be Nouns member in the bot lane who's going to be begging. Z-Freak thought he could defend this area. Mistakes are made. It's kind of weird. I was about to praise them for not coming bot because of Rezo, right? You don't want to be near the Viper. And then immediately, as soon as I was getting ready to say that, a support thought he could sit here.
I'll say this, I mean, Z-Freak made it take forever. Top lane, by the way, Puppy's gonna fall to Sunstrike, it misses. Moo manages to avoid it, and he'll TP out to safety as well. So the brawling continues. This is a 9-8 game. We already have 17 hero kills. And we just hit the 10-minute mark.
I actually love how a lot of the games we've cast today have kind of been like this. Like, there's been a lot of bloodbathing going on in the majority of games. It just feels like people are gauging what style of Dota they want to do. And they're seeing that if they can get aggression going, you know, it just leads to this snowball effect. Might as well just play towards that advantage. Don't focus on a late game farm. And now in the mid lane, Z-Freak, he thought he could commit. He thought it would be clean and simple, but he was wrong. And now that he's forced Rezo to rotate, I do believe this is where you may have to fall for that tier 1.
Yeah, that was very... Well, they didn't have a, especially, again, they didn't know Viper was nearby, is the point. They thought they had a free kill on Evoker, or at least attempting for it, but immediately Resolution showed up, and Clockwork knew that he was in trouble. What's up?
This is unexpected. They've actually smoked the Viper, they're heading bot. Husky will cut them off. But interesting choice that they don't even want to take mid. They just want to stick Rezo bot again, and make sure that apparently Nouns heroes have to always come back here.
Yeah, perhaps trying to set up for that kill on the Bat Rider at the bottom lane, but as we saw and mentioned, Witch Doctor cutting him off and takes the sacrificial lamb there as far as falling, but now's the mid-tower push. It's not going to be easy, though. Now's definitely not going to give this up for free. They were going to pop Fortification, and they are setting up a Gunnar. Is he in a bad spot? TP's coming in. The Global Silence used. Refraction has forward out. Zach on top with that tag team, but it's not enough damage. He is taking out the poisons, but now Resolution in trouble as well. So they kill the TA. They do not get the tower, though, and 3 are dead on the side of Secret.
Chrysalis should be able to just about get away. Mu had the lasso coming off cooldown, so it gets out just in time. Man, looking back at that fight, I think there's this weird indecision that was coming out of Team Secret with the Viper. They TP in mid to try and protect the Invoker, then they smoke wrap himself, and then they go back mid again. It feels like they're just trying to do a lot with the Viper, and it comes back to what I was highlighting, that you have two choices with this hero. You either enable him to rotate, but you kind of weaken what he does really well, or you double down on him being this slow, immovable fortress and you park him somewhere. It feels like they're trying to have the best of both worlds, and as a result are being punished.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Can't forget about the Weaver as well, who has a double damage rune now and farming up here in the Dire Jungle. Went the early Falcon Blade, looking for a Maelstrom. Puppy, that's a hook shot in, and likely to be a free kill. There's going to be a Sunstrike response on Z-Freak, and he's going to be fine though. Last word, oh, maybe not.
Psych. Psych. Okay. He's not getting out.
He's dead. Oh, Moo picked up way down here though.
Wow. Yeah, they dove for the tier 2. So yeah, you get Puppey, but you lose one up top, and then you lose a more important kill in the mid. It's kind of funny, actually. Like, if you look at what Noun are doing, they keep seeing Puppey top, and then they keep feeling like this should be a free kill, we should always go for this. And it's starting to feel a bit by design, right? Because Secret are now always in position to punish someone alone elsewhere on the map.
Dragonlance finished on Viper, talking about his item progression and working on that Hurricane Pike now. The additive range. Of course, Monkey King, the Echo Saber. You see that, and then likely even broken up into a BKB.
Smoke movement. The Hounds are coming into their own jungle. Might not like what they find. Actually, they like finding this. It's usually a free kill, but it costs them more elsewhere. However, this time, Puppey stands his ground. Moo looks irrelevant. Witch Dot is going to throw out the ultimate, but the snowball comes through. That's going to bounce the damage over those. Zayat's giving over a secondary. Z-Free going in deep with the hook shot. No one will give over his life, but was praying, hoping that maybe Nouns could turn it into something. Unable to.
There's vision up here for Nouns, though, which actually is going to be taken out of the end, so Secret knew that as well, and making sure to get the counter ward out, as they do effectively. Yeah, the Sunstrike didn't hit Batrider initially, but didn't matter. They were able to take him out in that fight, and we got a 2-for-2 exchange happening. Monkey King, no, Chrysalis pushing out the bottom and talking about the Echo Saber. It's not going to be delivered for him, but Nisha, he went the Hand of Midas. You know, this is kind of that typical Quas Exort build, especially. Bots, Hand of Midas, BKB now queued up. His farm looking pretty good. He is, in fact, now top in the game.
Yeah, it'd feel weird to see an Invoker go Exort and not actually go for the Midas, so definitely a respectable pickup here. Has allowed him to stay ahead of the Templar Assassin all times. Gunnar is doing pretty well, though. 3-1-2, close to having that Blink Dagger. That should be their kind of go time. In an ideal world, Secret are now looking to just avoid deaths, because Nouns, what they want now, they want to find 1 or 2 kills and then turn it into a Roche. Then the Blink comes naturally afterwards, and you start to snowball a little bit. Bot lane, fight elsewhere. Lasso used, but doesn't help him out at all. Moo still stuck in deep here. Will go down in the end, but they do at least get an exchange. Monkey King gets killed off. Zayat's as well. The global silence forced out, but still an exchange that favors Secret.
Well, a global silence forced out, but it secures the kill on Weaver, if anything, because he had his ultimate. He had the time lapse, but that's one of the reasons I talked about. The silence there is certainly good against the Weaver, so unable to use that, and it very much so think that's worth the use of the global silence to make sure that kill happens on Weaver, of course. So yeah, Secret now bumps up to about a 3,000 net worth lead overall for them. And how about Silencer, by the way, too? A couple of bracers picked up, has that fluffy hat towards the Force Staff. So this is a pretty tanky Silencer, believe it or not. Position 5, but Puppey, he's making sure he's staying alive.
Hook shot. Oh, that's going to be a big whiff. Nisha, just recalibrate. Slide to the right, and you have a freebie there. Nisha was like, oh, thank God, Midas was coming off cooldown. There's nothing worse than sitting there and watching the timer.
I love that, though, because, again, it's mission kill Silencer, but he is taking me a Monkey King middle lane. Chrysalis, there's the TP Sport, though, immediately retreat if you're Weaver.
Yeah, good reactions. DD is now here as well. Like, that's unfortunate, because if you get killed there, then you move south, get the DD. That's a free rush for Nouns. All of a sudden, though, Secret pick it up, and they go back in the jungle. I've got to give a lot of credit the way they played this jungle. It feels like they've never really been truly forced out of this bot side, and Nouns, they're missing out on a lot of safe farm as a result of that.
Well, they're making their way to the mid lane, trying to pick up some farm here and try to take out this tier 1 tower. They do have the top one destroyed in their favor. Costubile is going to manage to do so. Never mind. Fortification used at the last second, and now Secret's here to respond. They're smoked up, so really trying to get the greediness of Nouns, but Nouns playing a little too disciplined and retreats before the jump actually happens. So the smoke for a Secret, they'll try to use it further into their jungle, and well, they're going to find a clockwork, and that should be a free kill at least.
Oh, no. Well, no.
He tried.
He panic hook shot. He forgot the creeps in the north corner on that camp. I don't think it would have got him out anyway. Like, he was really screwed. It's just unfortunate now because you've used hook shot on cooldown for 60 seconds, so you're going to be up in 15 and still useless for another 30.
No, it's done though. But Weaver needs that BKB. Again, if anything, that last fight really showed us that to go back to the global silence. So he is working on it next. Get in there.
Yeah, the tough part is he can't BKB before it comes out, though, right? Because otherwise you're going to be silenced anyway. So it's still very uncomfortable in this game. Because if you look at the heroes that Secret have, they could easily force magic immunity out of you early on when you consider Invoker in the mixer. And, oh my god, speaking of the Invoker, Moo's just a freebie, and he had reinforcements here.
I mean, he makes it look so easy. It's almost frustrating watching Invoker players like this, because it's like everyone, a heavy majority of Invoker players, myself included, you know, we think we could do all these big plays and, you know, make these sunstrikes happen, but bottom lane, by the way, this is a catch on the Weaver. He's just dead.
That was close, though. He actually, he almost had that. I think that was like one more tick and he gets the time-lapse off in time, but just shows you still how vulnerable he is. Global's at least out of the way, though, and they can move out towards the pit. Actually, thinking about what Secret now have to defend Roche, I do believe nouns could do this. It's a bit risky, but you need to get your TA this Aegis now that you've got the Blink Dagger. Otherwise, she still can't play the game.
Yeah, as you talked about, I mean, she's working on the Blink, but, hey, or excuse me, the BKB, but if you get an
Puppies, what are you doing here? Hook shot. Oh, they found the Monkey King. Push Nisha back. Lasso comes out. Chrysalis in a world of trouble. Poppy is not here to save you this time. That is most definitely going to be Roche going the way announced.
Yeah. So, again, he won't have the BKB for a little bit, but at this point, very likely could have an Aegis now if you're nouns, and you will take that. So, that Desolator coming into play. It's not going to be very fast, but it should be quick enough. I mean, the Secret's coming over, though. They got Invoker. They're not going to give this up for free.
I mean, how do you stop it right now? You haven't got a Blink on Tusk. Your Invoker has got Blink Dagger, but if he goes in alone, he's going to die. I think you just know that this is too late. Aegis going to be picked up. Best thing they could hope for is maybe trying to snatch the kill on Roshan, but nouns, they get what they need. We talked about this at the win condition. First Roche in the bag pre-20 minutes. This should allow them to get some map control and take a tier 2 or 2. And then if they get the full-up Roche after that, we could start to see this get heavily in favor of nouns.
Yeah, Templar Assassin, one of the better snowballing heroes as we know about in the game, and Gunnar is starting to get that momentum that you like to see if you're a nouns fan. So, Bat Rider also a BKB purchased. Goes without saying, great item pickup. And Templar Assassin, I mean, and she is getting there. She already has almost another 1,000 gold saved up, already purchasing yet another Mithril Hammer. So her damage looking pretty good, too. Weaver, though, how's this BKB coming along? It's like 1450 gold needed. So.
It's there. Oh. He's playing with fire right now. Moo almost ticks down. Z-Freak able to cover his escape. Way too close.
Let's get out, though. Hey, talk about Invoker getting that Blink. So, man, that's another thing with when you have these Invoker players, I noticed with Nisha especially, not only all the spells you got to worry about, but all these activatable items now as well. Every single one feels like is at some point the ability to be activated, to be used effectively, and yet another one. The Blink now, the BKB.
Yeah, one really spooky element about Blink on Invoker is usually the Ice Wall. Now, luckily for nouns, they've got their BKBs or heroes that don't have to worry. All their cores can at least get away from that. It's someone I love to see with high-level Invokers. It's like Ice Wall, utilizing that aggressively is kind of difficult. But Blink trivializes that matter. Ooh, rotation.
Smoke, they're hunting.
We
also see the jetpack, by the way, for Clockwork during the smoke.
That's how he TP'd out in the top lane, because he was moving away at the same time. Otherwise, he was going to be mincemeat. So you can see that like they don't want to go on Zyrax, right? This is like a terrible kill. You can probably kill him straight away, but it's such a low-value hit, especially when you've got magic immunity piercing stuns.
Yeah, that's definitely not the target they want. And it's almost why Secret's doing this at the same time. They understand that too. So Zyrax is kind of playing that dare to jump me.
Yeah, hit me. Please hit me. I'll hit Reza if they can. He's gonna skirt away. Keep in mind there's still the global to worry about here as well, which is another thing that's got them very hesitant.
BKBL Weaver, though. She does have it now. We're talking about the Bat Rider also having it.
Much more even game, though. I'm glad to see this. I was a little bit worried, as I said at the start of this game, maybe nouns are demoralized. I hope not. They hung in there well, and this is starting to look feasible. Like, this game is still very much in the air. It could land either way.
It is nice to see that, especially when you have such a stomp in the first game. So now this is going to be a good initiation on Puppy and trying to burst him down, but again, goes better than the tank. He 4 stabs away. Initially, they're going to go for the turn kill on a Z-Freak, but no, he manages to dip back out. Borrow time going to be activated by, or timeless, excuse me, from the Weaver to stay alive, but the global sign's coming out after the fact. Manages to escape though, but they killed Invoker, and now Resolution. He's standing his ground, and Hurricane Pike pushback, but KP, we're still going.
Gunnar, he's being brought low, but that's just the first life, remember. He's got no one to work with. They're going to try to lock him down, though. Chrysalis sets up the Wukongs, and a push away comes out on the side. Zayac makes sure there's no reinforcements, but Gunnar, quick on the blink to get out. Chrysalis, though, quick on the pursuit. Jumps in, BKB activated, will stand his ground and fight, but he gets eviscerated by Gunnar. Follow-up damage out of Viper is too high, however. At the end of the day, just as this game started, the Viper is the one dictating everything.
Z-Freak. But again, he got very low at the beginning of that fight. Eventually does that right there. What a clash, though. I mean, so many things happening. Again, the barrel time just getting off in time despite that that ultimate of silence there, thanks to the BKB, of course. But yeah, I mean, the Monkey King just, as you mentioned, eviscerated. Such a perfect word because he absolutely melted as soon as the TA came out with the meld and that Desolator. You just see that damage that she can do. So I don't know. What is the recaps? I mean, it was a fairly even exchange. There was the buyback on Silencer. About a 600 net worth lead, though, for Nouns out of that fight, at least. So coming out in their favor.
That was with Aegis, though, right? The tough part for them is we always have to remember the TA is the win condition, the TA is everything. I will say, however, if this game goes to like an hour long, Weaver will take that baton and carry it across the finish line. Like, Weaver is actually pretty spooky in this game, especially when you go hyper late game and you're thinking, like, how does a Monkey King stick on top of the target? You know, what can an Invoker offer? There's still a late game world in which Nouns can exist, but they're still looking for that win condition around, like, second Roche, high ground push with the TA.
Look at TA. The Dragon Lance going to be happening next. More range to work with there, always nice. Mid lane, they looking to jump Resolution, but you saw them coming at the last second. The 4 staff away. Yeah, good reactions indeed.
Yeah, so looking at what's happening here, I'm wondering if either team's going to think about Heaven's Halberd. I think there's a lot of value on both sides. You saw the damage that Viper can put out in those fights. Like, it's no joke, despite the fact he doesn't really have right-clicking items. Batrider would be the most likely candidate, but he still hasn't even got his Blink Dagger online, right? And then on the flip side, you know, Secret definitely want a Heaven's Halberd at some stage. Interesting part is Rezo would be the most likely candidate, but instead he's going for the Skadi. Pretty cool idea considering he's up against multiple range carries.
Yeah, it's multiple factors as to why that would be useful. Not only the attack itself, but of course just how much beefier it makes him.
Yeah, and of course, you know, like the slow is not great against the Weaver, at least in terms of movement speed, but the attack speed definitely hits him hard, especially hits the TA hard. You know, movement speed aside, the TA is like a hero that kind of looks for that quick 1-2 tap burst. Minus 60 attack speed might just be the difference between your support living long enough to hit the global.
How about Weaver going the Glypnir, by the way? So we're going to be seeing that coming out. He has the Rod of Atos. Going to finish the Glypnir next, and going to allow him to sit on targets that much more effectively, keeping them in place. So that's
feels like a naturally good item. It tanks you up, so, you know, it's on the way. Glypnir is going to have some pseudo use, like in the Anarchy, just locking down multiple heroes. Some of them can get out, sure, but it's the fact that you force them to do things, and in the meantime, just kind of free up a slot in your inventory.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Monkey King also looking for a Desolator of his own, of course, much later than the TA, but understandably so. But big item pickup that we see here, Batrider is going to have a Blink Dagger now delivered. So we haven't really seen that presence yet of the lasso necessarily, but now Moo is going to come online a little bit more effectively with the Blink purchase.
Yeah, he just needs to be careful. Like, he's got 2 issues to worry about from the support side. We already know about the global and what that can cause as a nuisance to the Batrider. We then also have to consider Zayac. Zayac does have a Blink Dagger, so if he sees you make that jump, he snowballs in, or blinks into snowballs, he can just pull the lasso target into safety. So, kind of have to lay yourself in a way that the lasso baits a suboptimal fight. Speaking of fighting, Zayac, gone. So one of those issues is removed instantly.
Yeah, and he's not buying back, and Puppy's the other one, right? They're going for him. They're trying to get to it, but the Wukong's put down. A Weaver in trouble. Manages to time-lapse just in time. Oh, that was so close. He had to have maybe like 10 life, I want to say. But he gets it off. That silence. I don't know if the silence was late either. It might have been, but either way, he survives, and that's what matters.
Yeah, we call that efficient time-lapse usage, guys. You know, every time I die, and it's why you use time-lapse. Like, yeah, I could offset 70% damage, but it's more impressive when I offset 99%, right?
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that's what it actually was, too. I thought he honestly died for a second, but nope, got it off.
So to me, it looked like the final Monkey King attack was coming in, and then like a microsecond before it connected, the time-lapse came out, and that would have killed him, which is just... Man, that is truly living life on the edge of a dagger.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Take out the outpost to keep this control of the dire jungle currently. Tier 3 items starting to pop out.
They've got everything. Oh. And they're going to start using it. Lasso in. Sansa, no global for 50. No life for 72. Tusk is going to join him in the grave. That's what you get. Save a Hero Syndrome backfires again.
Not sure about that one from Tusk. I mean, that's the idea, but when it's your silencer getting pulled in when your team is not looking for a fight whatsoever right there, it just seemed a little silly at that point. But it's one of those in the moment, the heat of the moment. It's understandable where his head was at, but a lost cause and ends up being the 2 deaths for Team Secret there. And we're starting to see that overall net worth shift. It's kind of bouncing back and forth now at the top of the screen. It's been in the lead pretty much for Secret this whole game up until basically now, where Noun is finding himself at a slight but an advantage nonetheless. Templar Assassin, of course, leading the way with his farm, as he's got the full Hurricane Pike now finished and another 1,000 gold saved up.
And Secret giving ample respect over. Like, this is Noun's time to shine. You mentioned the Blink Dagger they've got on the Bat Rider. The BKB Blink on the TA. The Weaver is very difficult to kill and can easily turn around on you with the Gleipnir now. What they're looking for is a smoke into a formidable fight around Roche, which just came up, by the way. That this is going to be a key detail in the outcome of this game. If Nouns get it, they could catapult into the high ground. If Secret stop them here, this is where Nouns can start to slip and lose momentum.
Absolutely, and Nouns, they're going for it immediately. It comes up, and as soon as they notice,
oh, this is too slow.
They're going to shred it.
This is way too slow. They're too late. They had the right idea, but they had the right timing. And as a result, Aegis now in the hands of the Templar Assassin, and they are going to have the back right off.
There's a couple of keys, too. He not only gets the Aegis, but he gets the Aghanim's shard, so the Psionic trap off there. And on top of that, he's level 20, by the way, so the meld now dispels from the talent. But this engagement, it's coming up. Z-Freak, he's looking for the right timing. He's got hookshot, of course. Just a matter of finding that somebody. Specifically that silencer, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, this is my favorite part, right? You're playing against Silencer and you get the Ag shot. It's like, oh, well. How the turns have tabled. It's your turn to be silenced. And he's sitting right in a trap right now. He doesn't even know about it.
No. Yeah, you're going to constantly have to be wary of those at this point. Silencer, speaking of, he understands where the game's at. He's got a Ghost Scepter now. So even more tanky, even more ways to try to deal getting jumped if he's quick enough.
They don't even want to approach these traps, but they know they have to get rid of them. Jump in, move, hunting. Lasso's going to come out, drags one back. Nisha's going to be a big kill. Zayat's just dying from the splash damage as well. Nisha does at least get away. Buyback comes out from Tusk, and they're looking to go in again. Chrysalis does get the Wukongs down. The strike through is good. Weak Doctor gone. But the TA is still a threat. One that Zayat is keeping occupied. Beautiful shards will prevent any deaths on Secret side after the supports.
Yeah, Templar Assassin, the tornado connects, actually. Oh no, Chrysalis is going to buy the time to chase. Zayak also in hot pursuit, puts down the snowball, and that's a dead Templar. That's going to be the Aegis. Can they follow it up? Cost ability, you got to be careful. He has time lapse. You don't want to overcommit to this, though. Gunnar comes back up. The auto attack can be to look at Chrysalis chopping to half-life. But Puppy, the Ghost Scepter coming into play immediately. They lose Tusto on the dieback. This is going to be a dieback on Puppy, right? Yeah, he's out for 75 now. So what actually looked like Secret benefiting, exactly. Suddenly, I suppose they overextended. They got the Aegis, but it comes at the cost of 2 dieback supports. And now Nels, Blockwork's up in 5. It's going to be a 5 versus 3.
Exactly. Now, this is the issue, right? Like, the supports do a good job in essentially keeping the TA out of the fight, right? They make sure that the lasso is wasted, but I love the way that Nouns budgets their skills and just leverages the hardcore damage this TA is pumping out. As a result, they're still pushing into high ground now. They've got time-lapse available. They've got hook shot. Team Secret, on the other hand, no Wukongs, no Global, because Sans is gone anyway. And Tusk isn't here to save the day. You're probably going to have to forfeit a lane. Might say that.
Okay. Can he
again,
lands
man.
the Sunstrike, not going to be
Hook
the kill,
shot.
though.
Yeah, not the target. I love how, like, you make... It's a classic Viper issue. Like, I've got him. I don't want him. But they want this.
Him. They got Invoker. The BKB's being activated, but Invoker's dead. He has buyback. Now you're doing his dead. Finally goes off. But Chrysalis, he's not going to be able to stand his ground, even in the Wukongs. It's just too much damage to handle once again. Zefrik with the dev pack. The Sunstrike connects. He's just too tanky, though. He's alive and helps to get the turn kill on a Tusk, who once again is dead for now another 40 seconds. So a buyback on Invoker. 2 more deaths, specifically Chrysalis falling. Nouns has... I don't want to say total control, but they are definitely in the driver's seat of this one right now.
I think the best way to describe it is they have got a firm grip on the Team Secret's crown jewels. It's very uncomfortable, the position Secret now find themselves in this game. They've just thrown away a lot of net worth into some eager hands that desperately needed it to really kind of hit that timing. It's not to say that the Nouns couldn't have went later. We mentioned that Weaver can come back in, but now with Swiftblink online for Gunnar, they are almost untenable, actually, for Team Secret. I think, like, the only way this works now is if Puppey gets the best global silence imaginable. I'm talking everyone on the side of Nouns has used BKB, and Gunnar is nowhere near his team.
I'm also thinking about this. It's definitely a hindsight thing to say. Well, hold that thought because we got a 4-player smoke from Secret. Monkey King behind. Nisha leading the way, though. Are they scanned? Yeah, they got scanned actually by now. So now just very aware that Secret's in the area. They're all sticking together, clumped on up, and this is going to be interesting. They're all kind of opposite sides as far as who should be for the Dire and the Radiant.
Yeah, but the smoke's going to end in an unfortuitous location if they're not careful. They'll move into the high ground, but you can just see Nouns are saying, okay, I'm checking my clock. They've got to come back soon. Rocket Flare in won't reveal them. It's a little bit too short for that. The Team Secret with no easy way now to get back into their base.
Yeah, it is kind of funny how it's on the monkey in the middle right here, more so just kind of that barrier, I suppose, that Secret is or having to deal with of Nouns.
I think they saw them there. I'm not sure. Like, the Rocket Flare might have got a glimpse on them as it's flying by, so they now know where Secret are. Secret definitely have an idea of where Nouns are sitting, but the frustration is you have to come back to your base. You have to kind of like Rainbow TP your way in, because now Nouns can just start poking high ground.
That's exactly what they're doing. Gunnar in the way, that Desolator. Doing some damage to the tier 3. Gonna get the response at least out of Invoker for now.
Love that when I'm an Invoker, just seeing people went to the Prometheus school of running away from things. Gunnar may want to try sidestep in the future. But he doesn't care. Like he's just happy the news that they're back in the base, because now they can just move out, take out all these fresh wards that Team Secret just wasted all that time investing in, and once again just sit here. Nouns are just waiting for the next Roche.
Yeah, that exactly. It's going to point that out if you didn't. It's just 2 minutes on the red timer remaining, so still a bit of time for Nouns, but next 2 to 4 minutes or so, we're definitely going to be seeing that Roshan, and I'm sure Nouns is immediately going to beeline for it. So that still is a fair amount of time, and a lot can happen, and Secret, of course, are aware of that as well, and wonder if they're feeling desperate to the point where they need to make a jump happen themselves. Obviously, they'd like to catch somebody isolated,
Smoke.
But Nouns, they're not giving that isolation. They're 5-player smoked, and they're heading into the Dire jungle.
He there is going to have his smoke broken. They found Puppey, perfect target. This Global does nothing.
Huh.
It doesn't even save you. He's dead as well. So Global's gone. Puppey dies. Drops a gem. Hook shot through to find a bonus kill. Both supports on Secret are once again going to be dead. And once again, Secret are going to be stuck in their base with nowhere to go.
Yeah, that was a very desperate global silence. I don't know if they were just on completely different pages with teammates, or if that's just simply... Honestly, a part of that could have just been Puppey knowing that he's probably dead anyway, just delay the kill as long as possible. Make it so Nouns, they're going to be delayed in the big picture. But because he is up in 20 seconds, and global silence, not the longest cooldown. It'll be up another 50 seconds from here. But point is, Nouns is now pushing, knowing once again they have a 5 versus 3 advantage. They're going to get more damage on that tier 3. And we keep an eye on that Roshan timer that I'm sure Nouns is certainly having in their mind as well. But how about this Weaver, though, man? I have Scotty now picked up. He's going to be working on a Satanic next, so even if you get that silence off to prevent a time lapse effectively, you're going to have to get through a lot of life pool before that even matters.
So Weaver's journey in this game is kind of funny. For anyone tuning in right now, like it's that before and after scheme where they show you what's clearly a scam picture of like a fat or scrawny dude, whichever one, and then just as muscly as Lizard, actually more so.
It's the Captain America effect.
Exactly, but this time the story is true. Like, he really was that scrawny. Costabile did not have a fun start to this game. He was bullied off his lane, he could barely exist, but you wouldn't believe it looking at this game now.
Chrysalis is doing what he can to push out this bottom lane, but naturally you see Nouns making their way over. Gonna eventually push it back out in their favor. And it's gonna be a fairly quick Roshan. I think that's certainly to the advantage of Nouns. We're already down to 40 seconds before the third one is up, and Templar Assassin's almost 25 as well, so another key factor that they have to look forward to.
Look forward to is an interesting word to put on it. Screaming no as you get bashed by a TA out of nowhere is not a fun experience, especially when you consider that means the TA can maybe like burst the hero to open with, and you can just save lasso and hook shot for others. It's gonna become a very spooky game. And I like what Secret are doing when they're trying to leverage Rezo as the new carry. Like, you notice he gets alacritied all the time. He's building kind of carry-ish, just tanking up and doing extra damage. They've relegated Chrysalis to more of a split push role because he's really the only person who can on the side of Secret.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's been down to this bottom lane for quite a bit right now, but the Roshan, even if they were to figure out what's happening with the Sunstrike, it's just dead. They have no chance to react to this. It's going to be a shard pickup to go with the Cheese and the Aegis, of course. Let's see who they give the shard to, but the Aegis certainly going to be the hands of Weaver, or excuse me, of TA.
Everything.
Fact,
Everything is in the hands of TA.
Sure.
No, don't share it around. Whoa. Wash your hands before giving that cheese over.
Yeah, Refresher Shard, not the greatest necessarily on TA, but pretty good on Bat Rider, though.
It's interesting, actually, because sometimes it's really nice. Double refraction, then you've got like Swift Blink twice with BKB twice, but we're not at that stage. Lasso's definitely more value, and look at the jump in, no hesitation. Gunner, he's like, I've just got an Aegis. Can I use it? You very much can. I wouldn't advise it like that, though.
That was very ambitious there. Secret almost making him pay, but there still might be work to be done. The Global Slam's going to be coming out. Wukong's throwing down. Templar Assassin, though, in the back line. Going after that. Silencer eventually gets the kill. The Ghost Scepter not going to save him, but now Gunnar. Viper sings on him. Refraction goes up. He's still alive for the time being, thanks to that Dispel. And being pushed away. The Sunstrike, it's going to hit. No, it didn't hit Moo. It almost thought it was for a second.
Psych.
There's the cheese. Oh, nice share of the cheese.
They handled Chrysalis on the backside. They refreshed Lassoed him twice. That's why he's dead there. They kept him out of the fight entirely. It was just Moo and Husky that got rid of him alone. The rest were able to just pivot in. And now, after all that, Gunner still has the Aegis to play with. Monkey King, on the other hand, not willing to commit that buyback. So now, Nouns might get an opportunity to probe the high ground, but it is difficult against Nisha on this Invoker.
Absolutely, yeah. Secret's going to be able to delay this, ideally, especially with the buyback ready for Monkey King. Still dead for another 30 seconds currently, but Weaver, Satanic finished. Talked about how extra beefy his life pool now becomes. He's going to Shikuchi around the Glyphner effect on Silencer in the base, and, you know, Viper certainly keeping them at bay with the slows. We saw, again, the TA in the last fight, he was heavily slowed. But the Mel Dispel is certainly coming into play for him as well, and I think a big reason why he lived that last fight.
And the other thing is he went for refraction charges. He's got 13 instances. It's actually interesting when you look at these two sides. You've got one side that is very hard to breach, and the other side that's actually very hard to breach the health pool of. Right? You've got the Weaver with the time lapses that are almost always going off. And this is a 3.7k HP Weaver in this game. Satanic BKB Skadi. And then you've got the 13 refraction charges on the Templar Assassin. Like, they're probably not going to make much progress quickly, but they can occasionally just go up and probe the high ground. So although Team Secret have a good comp to hold, long term, they need a better plan.
Yeah. Well, bottom lane, yeah, a lot of TP support down here. You got Z-Freak scouting out with the jetpack, so they're hunting this Monkey King. But I don't think... Oh my god, that almost hit him. That was really close for the hook shot.
Yeah, the hand of destiny reaching out with a middle finger extended. Chrysalis dodging death there, but really just feeling crippled on the farm side. I mean, I just feel like he's slipping further out of this game. In fact, at this stage, Moo almost has more net worth than him now.
It's easier Freak scouts him out once again, but hey, he's pushing back the lane and forcing Chrysalis to continue to hop around in the trees and thus not get much farm as a result. So now's the decision time of how do they make the best use of this Aegis. It's a minute 30 remaining. You got a double damage room bottled up in Siege. She's level 25 as mentioned. So it feels like you need to make a play with this Aegis, especially if you're Nouns. And that play is going to be going for the tier 3, of course.
Pop straight in. That's what I was talking about, right? You just poke, slowly get through it. Global Silence going to come off the jump in. Moo getting a bit ambitious here, but didn't lasso anyone in the end. Zayat is going to survive for the moment. Moo is going to pay the ultimate price. Crystal is now in, but gets stunned, not able to throw out the Wukongs, and now too little too late. He might be going down. Husky stands his ground. Buyback does come out from the Monkey King, but little now does he have to offer to these fights.
God, the damage of Gunnar in these fights with the double damage activated especially. No one feels comfortable getting close, maybe outside of the Viper, but even he certainly melts pretty quickly. But Tusk, he felt the pain. Something, I want to check on, never mind. But anyways, we do see Templar Assassin
we see
beat down on the racks at the last initiation. Silencer is dead. He is out for 80 seconds, no buyback. Both supports once again have fallen. Resolution.
They can run Reza down.
No shot.
He's
dead
gone.
in, and that's a dead resolution likely. Yeah, he has buyback, but gonna most likely have to use it.
You just all in, just everything you can now, because the problem you now have, like you mentioned, the Sansa doesn't have buyback, which is unfortunate because he would have had global off cooldown in 25 seconds now. You're going to be fourth in 2 lanes, so you're probably going to just have to make your last stand on the final one. But the problem with that last stand, Wukong's still on cooldown for 20 seconds. You haven't got your Viper for 65. He is definitely going to have to buy back, but even if he does, I feel like the raw physical damage at this stage is too much for him to stand up against. Mid. There you sure. Ooh, they got him. He's gone. You believe. You very much believe, my friend. But not for long. Snowball turnaround. Seafreak says, I didn't realize playing Tusk this game. Weaver, they do get the kill. Big kill as well. He could buy back with a time lapse, but chooses to not potentially throw the game here. They'll just take a few minutes longer.
I'm with you. Honestly, if he does that in the moment, I actually think they could have just really YOLO'd and pushed him. Now, very easy for me to say, of course, in the moment, but that would have been a hell of a play. But it's also a case of, do they really need that? I mean, still see what they're doing. Gunnar is still here. Plenty to deal with from him. Those refraction charges are just so massive with the +7, with the +25 talent.
15 traps in play as well. Like, you just don't know where you're safe. You mentioned it early on, but it's important to keep mentioning. What was that for? Global Silence comes out, but too late. Lassie already used. Rezo, we mentioned he cannot handle physical damage here. Almost brought down. They're going to keep chasing through. The pushback is good enough. And Resolution, oh my god, he gets away with that.
I mean, that's crazy, but still there's damage being done. Tusk is going to fall. Puppy having to get away, and now the racks. Again, they're trying to save the Mega Creeps from being spawned, but it may just be too little too late. The range racks is certainly going to fall, and that officially will be Mega Creeps for Nouns now. So, again, the game not 100% over, but it just got insanely more difficult for Secret to truly make a comeback. So, yes, Viper staying alive there. Nice. Big picture, though. Nouns in total control of game number 2 and looking to split the series against Secret.
Yeah, they survive, but at what cost, my friend? I mean, there's a final stand opportunity here, but there's no denying that Team Secret, their wave push is lackluster for Mega Creeps. They have no true wave push on the Monkey King, right? Like, he's gone through damage, but there's no Maelstrom or anything he likes. No such item either on the Viper, and these creeps are tanky enough to stand there in the Never Toxin for a while. What the Invoker was doing before with the D push is also going to struggle against Megas. Kind of feels like it's Nouns' game to throw now. And I mean throw, like you put out your shoulder throwing it that hard towards Secret.
Yeah, well, we are absolutely at that point, and this ain't going to be a throw. This is going to be a pull on a Viper, and once again, Resolution, we see it before. He was able to survive the double force.
And I mean throw, like you put out your shoulder throwing it that hard towards Secret.
Yeah, well, we are absolutely at that point, and This ain't going to be a throw. This is going to be a pull on a Viper. And once again, Resolution, we've seen it before. He was able to survive the double force staff. The snowball save.
He's going back in.
He is going back in, though. And he is now dead for 115 seconds. So is Tusk for 48. But still, the triple snowballs, the meatballs flying out. The size just picked up as well. Low sword on a Clarker trying to keep him alive. Not going to happen. Chris Liss with that Wukong, but he can't stand his ground. He's just dying. It doesn't matter. That should do it. Chi well played. Nouns splits the series and gets their first game victory here of the LCQ. That's got to feel good at least.
It's got to be feeling amazing here. Nouns, after game 1, to bounce back like this and take game 2 in such a beautiful fashion, man. I'm impressed. I'm happy. I was a little bit worried that the game 1 was going to be in their head, but glad to see it. You mentioned it's the first game on the board. It would be heartbreaking for NA to just see them flopping at the end of day 1. And you know, we talked about this team, right? The potential they've got. There's definitely a beautiful fashion, man. I'm impressed.